You're watching Let's Chat.
Hi once again, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great day. It's time to talk about a pretty serious subject, something that goes back a ways, and it certainly has a lot of legal ramifications. A lot of precedents were set here in Chattanooga. It's really a big part of our history. That would be Ed Johnson, and we are happy to be joined in studio now by Donovan Brown, who is actually the chairman of the Ed Johnson Committee. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
As one can see behind us, again, as I say, a very serious story. Tell us briefly, if you would, the story of Ed Johnson.
So in early 1906, a heinous thing happened to a young woman. And long story short, Ed Johnson was falsely accused of this crime, wrongly convicted in a sham trial. There were no African Americans in the jury. Not even his parents were allowed to be in the courthouse. The Supreme Court stepped in and provided a stay of execution to this. Ultimately, after this happened, a mob gathered in downtown Chattanooga, broke Ed Johnson out of jail, marched him down to the Walnut Street Bridge, provided him an opportunity to confess, and he maintained his innocence, and he was lynched upon that bridge.
Right there on the bridge.
Absolutely.
And there were people there.
There were hundreds of people who were present. Not only did they lynch him, they shot him a number of times, including in the head, to finally end his life.
A very sad history.
Absolutely, yes.
A very, very sad story.
Yes.
Tell us about now, you're working on a memorial. Is
yes,
that right, Donovan?
that's correct.
Tell us about that a little bit.
So as we speak, the memorial is actually, statues are being installed. The work started about 6 years ago. An artist named Jerome Meadows, based in Savannah, designed it and installing everything. Essentially, it's a statue of Ed Johnson and his two African-American attorneys from Chattanooga, Stiles, Hutchins, and Noah Pardon, who defended him and developed this brilliant legal strategy, and which got that stay of execution, and we hope to bring healing in the city.
So is there any memorial on that bridge now? Is there anything there?
There is a very small plaque that has a name on it.
It's just a small plaque,
That is
though.
correct. If you looked at it, you would just think that he would have been a donor.
That's right. It looks like a donor's plaque, doesn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
It certainly does.
A lot of people, as you say, are involved in this.
Indeed.
They're very interested in trying to get that history out. Is that correct?
Yes. So the committee, was started 6 years ago, and it was a convergence. There were people who, in their own lives, had learned the story. Some had carried that story since they were children, as it was passed down to them from their grandparents. And then they all met around 2016. Eric Adkins, Marianne Martin, Steve Durthick, Elizabeth Williams. And then they worked to bring in LaFrederick Thurkill, who was a principal who had written a play and had carried the story himself. And our committee is comprised of folks old and young. And we brought on and invited in a number of folks to help plan their dedication. We've got 17 events that'll be kicking off on Thursday evening at the Hunter with the artist Jerome Meadows speaking. And then we've got events running through Sunday evening. And our primary event is at the bridge at 3 p.m. on Sunday. And I want to add to, I have the privilege, the honor of being able to moderate a discussion between John Meacham and Dr. Eddie Glaude Jr. from Princeton and also MSNBC.
Okay, so this whole thing came about roughly 6 years ago.
Absolutely.
And as you say, a lot of folks, it's not just one person who came up with an idea. Everybody,
Yes.
been a group thing. Has it been, how should we say, enlightening? Has it been a feel-good project, or something that you feel really, as well as feel-good, needs to be done?
Well, I appreciate how you frame the question. I wouldn't say it's a feel-good project. I think for me, it's induced a lot of grief.
Right.
Really? And a kind of burden. I didn't know about
cathartic, maybe is the better word.
I think,
is it?
I think we'll feel that way. I think we feel hopeful along the way. But there's a language in the scriptures about the valley of the shadow of death. And I think that we, the committee, have had to travel through the valley of the shadow of death because we're facing a man's death. And we're facing an act of injustice in two directions. One is the actual criminal was never caught and someone else was punished heinously for another person's crime. So I think there's been a lot of complicated emotions for all of us. Yeah,
you're right. It's really not for you guys and gals putting it together. It's not really a feel-good event, is it? Not really.
No, I think that I think it's a burden, but it's a liberating burden.
Right.
And I think to take on this crisis that is more than a century old within our city and within our county, because we want to see to that no other generation has to carry this burden in this way. And I think there's
Good
great
point.
power in
Good
memorialization. We're days outside of 9/11.
Good point.
And each year we remember the names
Yeah.
at the place where they were tragically murdered. And that's important.
Very quickly,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
can folks find more information?
One is social media. Ed Johnson Project. Also, if you look this up on our website, all of the events are there. And
Okay.
all of our events as well, we're going to be safe. So masks only. And the John Meacham, Eddie Glott event, that'll be for folks who've actually also gotten their vaccines.
Donovan Brown, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We look forward to what's ahead. Thank you. Still to come, folks, we'll talk music. Don't go away. We'll be right back.